Hi guys, this is your very first video. Hope you had a great day at school. It's the first video that I'll be doing. And so if you don't have your math book, open to page 11 and your composition book so that you can take notes if you think you need to, or just do the problems after we're done, you might want to pause the video and go get that. So please push pause, go get it, and we'll talk when we come back. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to do a problem with you, and then I'm going to have you guys do it on your own. So if you could go ahead and look at the directions for number 10. It says complete each question with the correct value and each question mark with a greater or less than symbol. Fill in the missing decimals on the number line. So the number line is here. It's a vertical number line. And it's saying that we need to compare each pair of decimals using greater or less than. Use the number line in A, which is up here, to help you. And that's where I'm reading on B right here. I'm going to scoot it back a little bit so I can see my whole book. Hopefully you guys can still see it. There we go. All right, it says compare each of the following decimals. So 0.1, or you could just say 0.1, is next to 0.05. And so if we look on our number line, you need to make sure you take your prior knowledge of this is the 10th place when we're doing decimals. So this is the 10th place, this is the 100th place. So you can see that the 5 is in the hundredths, and over here the 1 is in the tenths. So that means if you look on here, don't get it mixed up with thinking that this 0.1 is the same as 0.01, because the 1 over here is in the hundredths place and over here it's in the tenths place. So please make sure you don't get those mixed up or you're going to get lots wrong. So this would be just 1/10 if we were going to be looking at it as a fraction, because remember our decimals and our fractions can be interchangeable. So our fraction would just be 1/10 like this. Then if we were to write it, because this is the tenths place, it's saying there's 1 in the tenths place. So it's divided into 10 parts and we're putting the fraction on 1. So up here you can see they started their number line at 0 and went all the way up, and they didn't even end it at 1. So that will kind of help us to know, if we look on our number line, what we're looking at. So this one is actually going to be bigger. So the alligator, remember, wants to eat the bigger one. So we would go ahead and put that there so that we would see. So hopefully you can do B on your own by looking at the tenths and the hundredths place and see which one is actually bigger. These are both in the hundredths place, so it's pretty basic. You can do it with the same numbers in the same placement. Number 11, we're going to do mixed numbers greater than 6 but less than 7. So this is the point I want to point out to you if you're looking at your book with me. It's telling you right here how many to put your number line in. So it's saying draw a number line that you're going to do on your paper, and it's saying use an interval of 1/6 between each pair of mixed numbers. So it's saying numbers greater than 6 but less than 7. So we know we need to go between 6 and 7 and draw our number line there. Then it's saying using an interval of 1/6. So every time we're going to add 1/6. So I know I need to divide it into 6 parts, which would be 5 lines. Make 6 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's saying mixed numbers greater than 6 but less than 7. So we're going to go ahead and use intervals of 1/6. So it would be 6 and 1/6. Then if I added 1/6 onto that, essentially that would be just 6 and 1/6. If I add that, it would still be 6, but if I'm adding another 1/6 onto 1/6, it would be 2/12, which reduced is going to be 1/6. So we're not reducing. So over here we're going to say, okay, 1/6 plus 1/6 is going to be 6 and 2/6, right? or I'm sorry, up here, I made a mistake. This should be 6 because remember our denominator always stays the same when we're adding two fractions. So it should be 2 6. Sorry, I hope I didn't mess you up there. Then it should be 6 and 3 6, right? And so we're going to keep going up, just adding 1 6, 2 6, 3 6, but we're not going to go up to 7 because that's where it stops. So you should just keep going from here, 4 6, and then 5 6, all the way up, and you'll have another couple numbers here. Sorry, I'm going to extend this past our 7. Shouldn't be here because we have to go all the way up to the oh no, it just says to go to 6. So we went all the way up to 5 6, and that was our 7, so that was correct. All right, so hopefully that'll help you do numbers 12, 13, 14, and 15. I'm going to turn the page here and go over to 16. So if you could turn the page and you can go back and do those, or you can push pause and do them and then come to number 16 with me by pushing play. So compare each number using greater than, less than. The way we're going to figure this out is, get my paper here. What we're going to do is it says 3 and 9/10 and 3 and 3/10. So essentially we're taking our number line between 3 and 4, and we get to look at the bottom of the numbers to find how many parts they've divided it into. Well, 10, so that's how many parts I divide my number line into. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 will make 10 parts. So 3 and 9/10 would be 3 and, this is 3 and 1/10, and we keep going all the way up to 3 and 9/10, and obviously 3 and 3/10 would be over here. 3 and 2/10 would be here, and then 3 and 3/10 would be here. So we can look right here and say this is farther to the left on the number line. So I know my answer would be, if there's 3 and 9/10, which is what our problem says, and 3 and 3/10, this one is going to be bigger. Hopefully that helps you to do number 17, 18, and 19. We're going to either pause it and come back with me when you're ready to do number 20 with me, or you can go ahead and just do number 20 with me now and then go back to those problems. So the next one we're going to do, it tells you a little bit about how to do it. Hopefully you can read on your instructions over on this page, page 12, or up here is where it's finishing that up, but I'll go ahead and explain. So which is greater, 1/2 or 0.55? Now this might get confusing, so that's why we're going over it on the video. Which is greater, 1/2 or 0.55? And the way we figure that out, or the way they chose to figure it out, is by putting it on the number line. And I'm going to zoom in because sometimes the light makes it so you can't see something. Hopefully that makes it a little bit better. All right, so they put, if we have 1/2, we know we can do our number line between 0 and 1 because 1/2 would be right down the middle. So then what they did is they just made a decimal number line right below it and put 0 to 1. And as we know, if all of our decimals that go in this place right here are in the tenths place, and over here is the hundredths place, then we know it will be 10 parts. If I put 2 here, it means 2/10. So just like we did on the last problem, I know I can divide my number line into 10 parts. So let's go ahead, and they've already done that for you here. So it will be, you can either put 0.1 or just 0.1 if you'd like, and they divided it. So we can look and say, okay, if our half is in the middle of 0 and 1, it would be the same, this fraction is a decimal, if we look down and 0.5 is right there in the middle. So we know those are equal. Same thing we kind of talked about this morning. If I go over here and go to 1/4 and put that right here, I won't draw in my book, but then it's to 0.2 and actually a half. So right here would be about 1/4 halfway in between 0.2 and 0.3. And we talked about that this morning. Then 3/4 would be 7.5, which would be in between 7 and 8, and it would be up here. Or we also talked about this morning, a different way to do that, if that helps you better, is to take your fraction, and the top dog always goes in your calculator first, and you go 1 divided by 2, and that would equal 0.05 on your calculator, and then you'd know that those were equal. So either way you like to do it is fine. It'll tell you right here half is equal to 0.05, and that lies to the left. 0.05 lies to the left of 0.55. So we know half would be the same as 0.55. So we can go ahead and say our answer for number 20 would mean if half, or 0.05, lies to the left of 0.55 on our thing, because 0.55 would be between 0.5 and 0.6, then we can say, well, then that would be bigger. So we would go ahead and put, I'm not going to write on my book, but it would be that 0.55 is bigger. So hopefully that'll help you to do 21 through 26. If you have any questions, make sure you text me or call me, and you have that in your composition book, those contact information. Hopefully this video was helpful. If not, let me know tomorrow what I can do better, and we'll talk to you then. Have a great night. Bye-bye.